Hey there, fellers. This feller has acquired himself a 1965 F-250 custom cab. So this truck was not running, not driving. Got this truck. Tag plate says 93. Previous owner said it had not been on the road for 15 years. But you know, tag says 93. So about 33 years, 35 years. Anyways, so I got her running, and now we're having an issue with the clutch fork. The clutch fork does not want to stay in, and it keeps sliding out of the bell housing. So we're gonna have to pull the transmission off and try to get that thing to stay up in there. I've tried to shove it up in there and play with the spring and play with the connection rod, but it does not want to stay up in there. It keeps sliding out. So we're gonna figure that out today. I got some pieces of plywood to get that transmission jack underneath the truck, and we're gonna hook her up and get that transmission out of here and try to figure it out. Open it up, do some diagnosis, and try to figure out this bell housing and get this thing on the road and driving soon. Well, it's currently the next day. Didn't get much footage the rest of yesterday, but I got the drive shaft pulled off. So I was thinking I was going to have to pull the whole transmission off. So I started pulling the drive shaft off. I got the drive shaft off, and then I noticed the cover plate for the flywheel, and I'll play those clips right now of what it looks like. And so I was already there ready to get the jack underneath the transmission here, and so I started pulling everything apart. Well, I don't even need to do that. So I'm just gonna pull the passenger exhaust headers off and try to get that out of the way so I can get to this one bolt, and then I'll be able to take that cover plate off and be able to see inside of the bell housing to connect that clutch fork. So that's what I'm going to try to accomplish today, and hopefully I can get that done, and I'll show you guys what it looks like and what to do if you're having the same issue. So yep. Okay, so now that I have the headers disconnected, I have a little bit of playroom here. Just a little bit. If I've got to disconnect more, we'll get into that, but I'm going to get underneath the truck and see if I can get that bolt loose so that I can see inside of the bell housing now. Okay, so it looks like I'm able to pull the headers down just enough to get to that bolt back there. There it is. So that's what I'm gonna do. Well, it started raining on us a little bit, so I had to pack up and run into the house real quick, but the guy's back out here, and I've got that plate off of the cover disc for the flywheel and the clutch assembly. I've got that off out of there. I had to take off, I didn't have to, but just to make it easier, I took off the unbolted the driver's side exhaust manifold as long as the passenger side exhaust manifold, and I was able to rattle that thing and throw it out of there. It was just in my way. It was making me mad, so I got it out of there. So now I can see where the clutch fork is supposed to attach, and I'm able to assemble it and put it together. And I'm gonna put everything together and see if the clutch pedal feels like the way it's supposed to, and hopefully it's fixed. But I'll put the GoPro down there and show you what it looks like in there. Alright, I'll try to get the best possible view here that I can with the light. So the clutch fork is that blue gray piece. That piece right here coming out of the bell housing. And that's supposed to actuate the clutch here. And so there is the pull-out bearing that it's supposed to clip into. Well, I couldn't see that, so I couldn't see what I was doing. My issue is that I would actuate the clutch, and then the clutch fork will just be hanging out, and there was nothing for me to figure out what to connect it to. So now that I got it connected, I'm gonna start piecing things back together and see if it works. Well, it's been quite some time, and I've got everything for the most part put back together. I got the headers back on, had an extra bolt, couldn't get the bottom front header on, and the top bolt for the first cylinder went righty-loosey. So definitely gonna leak there, but that's okay. It looks right, and I like the smell. So clutch pedal feels good. Gonna try to put some wind in that tire back there, and see if she'll fire up and see if she'll go into gear and roll under its own power. So we'll see.